The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program host and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by TCN TV Network Incorporated. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. The TCN TV Network claims no rights to the said content. TCN TV Network cannot be held accountable for the copyrighted content. TCN TV Network is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this program.
Good morning, everybody. Andrew Perry from the Daily Real live in Brampton at the MyTCN Network studios in Brampton. Today I got a very special guest, Joel Anthony Delgrande from Delgrande Homes. Thanks for coming on short notice, man. I really appreciate that.
No problem. I'm in
Thanks
the house.
A lot.
All the way from Scarborough.
All the way from Scarborough on the east side, man. So Joel Anthony, you've got an amazing presence on Instagram, so I'm very happy that Grant finally made the introduction. You know what? Sometimes you've got cancellations, and sometimes they're a blessing because you get to meet somebody like this. So I appreciate that, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So Delgrande Homes, tell me about that. When did it begin? What are the services that you're offering? And where can we find you?
Delgrande Homes started back in 2011 when my family and I decided to pretty much start to flip.
Yeah.
I got my real estate license. It started off with my, dad trying to get into the business.
Yeah.
By working with realtors, and I was seeing that they weren't really giving him the time of day because, as an investor, you're going to shop a lot.
Yeah.
You're going to go through a lot of properties, as you know,
yeah.
And sometimes they may not take you serious because one may think it's a good deal, but to the investor, if the numbers don't run right,
yeah.
It's not going to be a good deal. So I decided to cut the middleman, get my license.
Yeah.
Long story short, got my license. We bought our first property. I was working at the time for a city job.
Oh, yeah.
And I was on a contract, and they pretty much let me go after being there for 2 years. So we kind of just dove head first. No one was working in my family. Mm-hmm. So we dove right into our first flip, and we kind of haven't looked back since. Yeah. We went from the flipping game. Now we're doing more so a lot of work for others. Mm-hmm. And the services we offer, we're builders. We do high-end renovations. We also do the real estate thing, home staging. Also, we do investing as well, too.
Yeah.
So, all type of investing, whether it's, physical real estate, hard money lending. We're just dabbling in a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, well, I like we put in the description, it really is a one-stop shop. And what you were mentioning earlier about the attention that an investor client needs is it's important because, for one, you might lose a great deal, right? Especially in this market. There's opportunities that you kind of need to grasp and grasp them right away. But at the same time, you're not going to rush into something if the numbers don't work, right? So I guess you saw a hole in the real estate space where you could fill it and, help your parents out, but also help your future clients out too, right?
Yeah, I mean, nowadays, because I've been doing this for about 8 years now, I got a lot of friends that kind of believe now. Yeah. And, I'm always here just to help them grow along with me because at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer is if you help someone else grow, it grows yourself, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I kind of was the guinea pig for everybody.
Yeah.
We were the guinea pig. We learned through all our, trials and errors and things like that. We continue to learn on a daily basis as well, too. But now I can preach to everybody that I know the steps that you can avoid taking to be more successful. I'm not going to say quicker because, being successful doesn't come overnight.
Yeah, that's right.
But, from my experiences, I'm able to help my clients that give me the confidence and show them in the right direction.
Okay. So what goes into finding that Not every deal's perfect, but what goes into finding a client or somebody like yourself, like an investor, that perfect deal in Toronto?
The perfect deal in Toronto. The market's kind of crazy still.
Yeah.
Crazy. Maybe not as far as bidding wars go, but
Yeah.
prices are still pretty high. And
Is there still room to make money here?
if you shop around, you know what I mean. A lot
Yeah.
of off-deal markets are probably where it's at. If you have a
Mhm.
lot of your network's big with mortgage brokers and things like that, they kind of can give you some insight on deals off market.
Yeah.
But the ones on the market tend to be uh, at market value, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that those aren't good prices for people buying to live in for a long time, but if you're trying to buy and make some money, whether it's 1 year or a couple months or whatever you're trying to do with it, you have to make sure your margins are according to what
Right.
you're going to be putting into the property, right?
Right.
But you can't, again, if you're looking long term,
Yeah.
obviously to buy at the right price is important, but you
Right.
can't really lose long term. You know what I mean?
Right. So is it? I mean, I'm not as naive as I look, but is it as easy as the HGTV guys make it? Like, is it as black and white as, okay, here you go, this is your budget, this is what needs to be done, rip out the kitchen, rip out the bathroom, and then this is how much you're going to sell it for? Is it that easy?
It's definitely not that glamorous. There's a lot of behind the scenes, not only, in Canada especially, I can speak for, there's a lot of tax things you have to
Right.
make sure of, and you have to make sure that budgets stay on point, and it's very easy to get off budget, to be honest with you. Reason being is because things come up, and I'll be truthful, a renovation is much harder than a build. Builds are from scratch, so you kind of can dictate what you put in there.
Yep.
From the get-go, you do your takeoffs, things like that, whereas a renovation, you open up a wall and something could be there that you're not planned
Yeah.
for, whether it's a plumbing vent, plumbing stack. It's just a whole different ball game when you start cracking things open that you can't see. So just got to beware.
Yeah. And
Take the risk, I guess you could say.
Yeah, well, I guess in Toronto too, like so many buildings, you run into like knob and tube or anything like that, in your
Nowadays, because of the insurance companies won't really insure houses with knob and tube.
Yeah.
Most sellers before they sell or they've planning to sell, they say
take
to
care of that.
themselves that this is going to be an issue on selling, on closing. So I should probably redo my wiring. So I don't really run across too much knob and tube. Maybe from original houses, more so in the downtown core. But anything outside the city has been fairly upgraded to
Yeah.
copper wiring.
So we were kind of talking before we came on, like like we were talking about. Okay, so if I'm a luxury realtor, and I consider myself more of a financial advisor than I do a realtor or a facilitator. So I was kind of talking about how people could use my services not just in my marketplace. Although don't worry, I send out a lot of referrals, so don't worry about that. But like for example, like I saw your Instagram. Obviously, I'm following you, and and you're working everywhere, right? Stouffville, all around the GTA. And do you think that it's because of the services that you offer and the skill set that you have that you can just kind of do these projects basically anywhere you want, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have a fairly big team.
Okay.
I have a lot of reliable trades that we work with, not only just our guys, but the subs that I use. Built a good relationship over the years, so they're willing to do what it takes to get the job done.
Yeah.
But most importantly, I like to work with good people,
Mm-hmm.
and at the end of the day, it's not always about the money per se.
Of course.
It's about being able to know that you'll get through this project with that client, because on these projects that we take on, they're fairly big projects,
Right.
6 months to a year. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we're going to have to do a lot of business and communicating together. And if you can't get along from the get-go, it's probably a good sign that you're not going to be able to get all the way through the end without a lot of ruffles, right? And I'd rather salvage relationships than get into a situation where I know down the road that's going to cause headaches for both of us, right? And could possibly tarnish not only just a relationship, but your name for something that could not even
Right.
happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so are you working, do you typically work with the same crews over and over? Are you finding people in different towns? I mean, I guess Stouffville isn't really that far of a drive from Scarborough up the 404, but
It's not, but some of my trades come from Barrie, some of them come
Yeah,
from Vaughan, so it is a little far for them.
yeah.
But I mean, you know what? Everybody is compensated, properly to make sure that it's worthwhile for them. I'm
Yeah.
a firm believer, as in you take care of them, they'll take care of you.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I know a lot of people in this business that can't keep trades because either they're not taking care of them or they just treat them like garbage, to be honest with you. Whereas when they come into our houses, we treat them like family, because that's what we started off as, a family business. We still are
Yeah.
a family business, but we're growing, right? So we have to
Yeah.
implement more people. But the whole family aspect, when you walk into our house, it's not about having a whip and chains out.
Yeah.
It's about, we're here together as boys, and we're here to get this job done. And let's
Yeah.
have fun doing it, you
Yeah.
know?
It's about creating relationships and not necessarily, employees, clients, or customers. We're going to take a quick break and we'll come back soon.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. May your dreams all come true. Happy birthday to you.
We refuse to promote, report on anything negative in the community.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Thank you for sticking with us over that short commercial break. So off air during the break, we were kind of talking, you know what? I talk about this a lot, and the reason why I talk about it is because this company, it really helped shape me. It's LA Fitness. I don't know if you've heard of that gym before, LA Fitness.
I have.
So that's where my sales career kind of started, and that's where I began to learn structures. Not only just how to sell and the burning desire to sell, but also how to live and live that business type of lifestyle where you're not just flying by the seat of your pants. It's organized, it's structured, and one of the biggest things was about when we were looking to hire, because I moved up to management fairly quickly, and one of the things that we looked for is, did our employees that were in the job interview play sports or competitively. And you were saying that you played what, baseball?
Yeah, Division I baseball
Division
down in the
I?
States, yeah.
Yeah, right? And that competitiveness and that drive helps entrepreneurs kind of grow their business. How did it help you?
When you're in competition, let's just, in anything, but most importantly, in the position I was down in the States.
Like, that's big time.
It's big time, man. I mean, I went there knowing that was my goal from a long time ago, you know what I mean? But it created the man I am today. Reason being is because, there's a lot of trials and tribulations you had to go through with teammates. You were put in very tight positions where you have to perform. And if you don't perform, you're going to be right on that bench.
Yeah.
And, I never wanted to be one that's right on that bench. I'm always the one at the front of the line type thing, right? So you have to do what it takes to win. And putting me in some of these positions wasn't just me who helped myself get there.
Yeah.
It was the encouragement from my teammates that helped me get
Yeah.
there. It was the family aspect of, you got my back, I got yours type thing, And I firmly believe that you can't do this by yourself, regardless what it is, real
Yeah.
estate, because you need clients, you know what I mean? Construction, because you need a team.
Yeah.
You can't do this by yourself. And unless you open your arms to help or others that share the same passion as you're gonna plateau because you can't do it all as one person.
Yeah, you can't grow without that team atmosphere, and somewhat of a leadership role as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to use what you've learned, like because in Division 1 too, like I mean, that's America's pastime right there. So you're doing it in the States, right?
Oh yeah, they're beasts down there, right?
Yeah,
So I mean,
they're pushing you, right?
I'm just a little Canadian kid coming down there, right? So it took a lot of just getting better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was pretty good as it is, not to toot my own horn or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be better, right? There's always somebody better than you,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't constantly work on your own attributes and self-reflect, which I do a lot of every day, you're gonna stay stagnant, and staying stagnant doesn't allow you to evolve as a person or as a business, to be honest.
Absolutely. So how, like, when we first met earlier today, you had already been at the job site. Like, do you take those morning routines seriously? Are you that kind of guy? Or?
Yeah, because I feel that if you don't have structure throughout the day, every day is different, right?
Yeah.
A lot of these trades just come in to handle their one trade and then they're out, right? So these guys really don't know what's going on. For instance, right now we're working with the plumbers. The plumbers are in a project for me that has 6 bathrooms in it, right?
Oh,
So that's a lot of bathrooms. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So we have to all be on the same page because I'm a type of person where I don't like going backwards, right? Because I feel backwards costs money, which it does, and time, which is money. You know what I
Right.
mean? So if we can nail it on the head at the get-go,
Yeah.
there's changes obviously, but if we can nail it on the head at the get-go, beginning of the day, then we can avoid problems at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So being there and leading by example, showing up on time, and just being the leader, they won't feel as lost in the house,
Yeah.
which allows them to perform to the best of their ability.
Yeah, leading by example is huge because nobody's really going to take you seriously if you're the one who's, especially in the labor role. I think it's mainly because a lot of really, really hard work goes into building a home, doing renovations, things like that. And if you got somebody who's kind of calling the shots but not getting their hands dirty, it can be difficult and create tension. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, you got to be in the trenches. I mean, people say, this is even though this is a family business, I'm the one on site most of the time for the building aspect of it. And people see me online or just in general, right? And say, well, why are you working still? I'm like, well, what do you mean? Why am I working still, right? Even though I'm on social media, people are like, you're behind the camera, whatever. But listen, if you were on site every day and saw what it takes to get a job done, I'm not scared to get in there, and neither is anybody, to be honest with you, on our team. But you have to, because what are you going to do? Point a finger and say, get in that hole, but you're just standing on top of the hole and then
passing them the shovel.
You know what I mean? Like that's not really encouraging for them to be better, right? Whereas you have to lead by example, and it takes little things to do that. You know what I mean? Even
Just
bringing a
daily
coffee
little
to the
things.
boys in the morning,
Yeah.
like these gestures take you a long way, in not just this business, but like any business, to be honest. So
Yeah, I agree.
respect
I agree.
respect has to be given in order to be given back. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and especially like from the real estate standpoint, people don't often understand this. But I mean, other realtors, the people that are on the opposite side of the table, they deserve respect. They deserve feedback. They deserve, just a genuine. What I'm trying to say, I guess, is that they're your teammates too. Even though they're
course.
your competitors, quote unquote. For one, they're the ones, bringing you the buyer or providing that listing that your buyer wants. And you've got to kind of work with them in a respectful manner as well, right?
Yeah, I mean they're not your competitors in a deal you're doing together, though.
Absolutely.
Because you need to work together. For instance, I just did a deal like yesterday with a realtor, and I said to the lady, I said, listen, lady, I mean, I really appreciate you being like this because I've done some deals with some pretty terrible realtors, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
To the point where it's not like they don't not only not know what they're doing, but they don't really know how to communicate properly. And this is a business of communication.
Of course.
I mean, everything's relationships are communication, right? But this business is especially of communication, right? Because you are acting as the middleman for the client, right? So you are supposed to be in the greatest interest of the client, but we're also trying to get a deal done here.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So you have to protect the interest of your client, but most importantly, the realtors can't look at other realtors and, oh, that's
your competition.
that's that competition. Not in a deal like that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there buying, and there's a lot of clients out there and stuff like that. I don't feel competition ever because people are going to use you for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when, to be honest, when somebody calls me up and goes, the first thing they ask me is like, "What do you charge?"
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, I could be the cheapest, I could be the most expensive, I could be the middle.
Yeah.
That's not the first question I want to hear.
Yeah.
Like, how about, do we work well together?
Yeah, absolutely.
That should be the first question, because it doesn't matter what I charge. It could be the cheapest out on the market, but if I don't do my job for you,
yeah. And you gotta
why
pay
would
to
you
fix
even
it.
want to use me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I agree, and I think that all comes down to just the type. I mean that type of objection has been delivered over time, but I think now, especially because we live in such a I want it quick, I want it cheap, and I want it all done the quickest, and I don't know, man. I guess you just really have to build those relationships, and I think that's more important than ever. And if those are the type of people that are approaching you, what's your price? What's your commission? Will you do it for this? I don't think they're even worth working with to begin with.
No, because they're just shopping at that point, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you got to shop. Don't get me wrong, but
course.
I mean, you do an interview for somebody, or whatever the case may be, is whether you're interviewing for a job or interviewing to hire them as a realtor or a contractor or builder, whatever. You interview them to see how they are as an individual. You do that to build a relationship, because you should have, like I said from the get-go, you should have a relationship with that person before you do any type of business. I'm a firm believer in doing business with friends and family.
Yeah.
A lot of people are opposite of that.
Yeah.
That's what I love.
Oh,
So
really?
all my clients that I've done work with or done work for, or a lot of them are really close to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Friends or
They trust
referrals
you.
of friends. They trust me. They know, I'm a real guy.
Yeah.
I'm not here to like stray them in any negative path. It's just, we got to get the job done, and this is what it's going to take. And to be honest, I've lost quite a bit of deals because I am a realist. You know what I mean? And I'll come in and I will tell you how much something costs. And if you don't want to hear it, you're going to obviously get your back up with me. But I'm not here to tell you something low,
Right.
get in there, and then slap you with a bill where you're like, whoa, well, what is this? And then you're like kind of locked to me. Because that's not a good feeling
No.
for you. You know what I mean? As the client.
No.
And you're not going to like me for that.
Yeah,
So
you want to get everything out in the open as much as you can. I mean, obviously, like you said, in rentals, you can't really determine everything that's going to happen. But I think as long as you're up front right off the get-go, it makes those conversations a lot more easier or
Down the road, for
more
sure.
comfortable to have down the road. We're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back soon.
Hello everyone, my name is Jermaine Chambers, and I'm very excited to tell you about the newest political and current affairs program coming here to Brampton. It's called On Point.
The first step of true reconciliation is learning more about one another.
Join us on Tuesdays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. as we discuss all the issues.
I will never forget the trust you put in me.
Municipal, provincial, federal, and any issue of national importance, we will talk about on Point. So do join us.
With so many newspapers within the community, it's sometimes hard to tell what separates us from the rest. Most of the time, they all brag about the same thing. The large circulations, tons of online views, and it can go on and on. But what really separates the Toronto Caribbean newspaper apart from everybody else? Well, it's simple. Our service. No, seriously. Hi, I'm Grant Browning, founder and CEO of the Toronto Caribbean newspaper. I have over 20 years of branding and marketing experience, and I've worked with countless companies and corporations to do one thing, and that is to raise their profits with their brand. With over 40 years of combined experience in branding and marketing, our amazing staff is fully prepared to sit down and figure out exactly what you need to stand out from your competitors.
The reason why you don't see that anymore is because
the ad is too powerful, bring too much people.
So what are you waiting for? Give us a call today. We'll be happy to help.
Okay, so we're back now. Over the break, we were talking about the hair, man. Joel Anthony. You are a good-looking dude. You got amazing
Thanks, man.
style, and that hair, man, I love it.
Thanks,
So
man.
you've always had that hair.
Always had
I don't
that
want to make
hair.
a whole conversation about your hair, but
No,
you've
no,
always had the
no.
hair.
We've always had this hair. My family used to be known as the long hair family. Growing up, my
Yeah.
brother and I were going through elementary school and high school with long hair, and it's just something that my mother kind of wanted on us. And being a little kid, you don't really
Yeah.
have much to say. But
And your mother's Italian too?
she's not Italian.
No?
I'm half Italian. My dad's the Italian side.
Dad's the
Yeah,
Italian,
yeah.
okay.
But she's taking over the Italian.
Yeah.
I got some pretty dirty jokes that she tells, but I'm not going to tell them for this thing. She's kind of crazy woman. But we all work together on a regular basis, and just my hair kind of stuck with me, man.
Yeah.
I had to when I went to the States. They made me cut it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of had to cut it for 6 years, so I kind of rebelled when I got home. I'm like, the hell with this.
Yeah.
I'm going back to the hair.
Yeah. Well, you know what? My wife's Italian, and I'm kind of like getting intertwined with their culture. Sunday dinners, pasta. Actually, my father-in-law owns a winery too. So
nice.
yeah, so
real
yeah,
Italian.
Yeah, right. So I know how easy it could be, or it can be, to be amalgamated into the culture. So it's a family affair at Delgrande Homes.
Yes,
right.
correct.
So who's all working with you out of your family there?
We got everybody. We got my dad, my mom, my brother, my sisters are involved, me.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then we have a lot of our guys on our team are not blood family, but I
Right,
consider them
consider
family
them.
because I've been doing business with them for
Yeah.
8 years, or I've known them before that growing up. I'm a believer in keep the people around you fed and
Yep.
give them the first chance. If they don't take it, or if they can't hold up to the task, hey, you can't say I didn't try at the end of the day.
Yeah. So, and kind of off air, you're telling me something, personal about your dad.
Yep.
And you want to talk a little bit about that? Is that?
Yeah. So
that
my
right?
dad was born blind. He's not 100% blind. I don't know what percentage you give it. He's pretty blind.
Yeah.
He's like 90-something percent. You know what I
Wow.
mean? He only has some peripheral vision. He can't see straight. So if we were here, he'd probably be looking over there to talk to you here.
Okay.
Because he can kind of make out your figure. You know what I mean? Sort of.
Yeah.
But the drive also comes from him because we were raised with my mother was a stay-at-home mom
Yep.
ever since I was born, and my dad was the sole provider in our family, and he worked 14-hour days every day working for others until they eventually let him go in a crucial time in our life, and he picked up his socks and opened up his own retail shoe business with his brother, who was also blind. So both blind guys owned this store without any major help. My family and I were about at this time we were about 13, 14 years old, maybe less, 10 years old. And we would help whenever we could, even though we were young kids. We'd help them.
Yeah.
But along the way, he woke up every day, grinded, didn't see us until the next day. Sometimes didn't see us all week. But the passion that was behind his drive for success is what got him here today.
Well, that's huge because, I mean, for one, how do you live with the blindness and be the sole provider for the family? Like
Yeah, it's hard, man.
He must have been, out there doing his thing every single day.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like my mother and father are beasts. They've been through quite a bit.
Yep.
But my father alone is like, to go out downtown Toronto every day. He owned 2 of his stores on Yonge Street. So,
Wow.
it's big prices to pay in rents. And, it's just his drive to succeed was great. Because, again, we have the same mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
If things fail in life, what are you going to do? Going to crawl in the corner and cry? You're not going to get out of it that way.
No.
You could pick up your socks, though, and strategize on how you can get better.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you're blind doesn't mean you can't do that.
No, of course not.
So that's kind of what his mentality's been, and they made it work.
So then, did your pops start Delgrande Homes, or how did that?
So after my pops was in business for 13, 14 years,
Yep.
the big boys started moving in, all these big companies and stuff downtown Toronto. Our city tried to evolve a bit, and he kind of got out while he was ahead. The original goal was for all the kids to take it over down the road, but unfortunately or fortunately, we got out ahead.
Everything happens for a reason.
And then he just started trying to get into the real estate, and it was never a vision of construction, to be honest with you. It was
really?
it was a vision of just investing.
Wow.
whether it was a hold or a flip. The goal is not to us to own our own construction company.
Right.
That was never there.
Yeah.
But after the first one we bought, we hired someone and we're like, the hell with this. Like, you know,
Yeah,
like, we learned a lot, but like we're spending too much money here.
Mhm.
Let's just learn it ourselves. And that's when we just jumped in head first, not knowing a damn thing about construction.
Yeah.
My brother and I didn't even know how to read a tape measure before we started.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have no background in construction.
Well, that's amazing considering like the first time I seen you guys was on Instagram, and you guys have created like a fairly decent following. Like how long have you been doing that?
We've been doing that probably since the get-go, 6 years now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 6 years now. Never been just you know, it was in the beginning. It was more like personal / business, you know, because I didn't. Again, the Instagram world was like, it's fun and everything, but it's not. It was never really a platform for us to show our work off because
Right.
we weren't even there yet, really, at the end of
Yeah.
the day, you know. But after, you know, constantly staying, you know, on the Instagram and social media, you know, it's worked for us. You know, it's worked for us for clients. It's worked for us just to put our image out there, and it just makes somebody feel more comfortable with someone before they approach them. That's what I feel.
I completely agree, but I mean, like your engagement levels are fairly high. Like,
Yeah,
you
they're-
know, you have like 150 likes per photo, and I think what the attraction there is that you're showing a lot of, you know, how the jobs actually get done, which is very interesting to a lot of people.
Yeah, I get a lot of compliments on, you know, just great job, or I'm looking forward to seeing the project done. You know, because of the way I do it, and not just, you know, a lot of people online just post the finishes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's more attracting. People get more likes on that. To me, it's not about the likes for me.
Right.
It's about are you enjoying the process?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're enjoying the process, I mean, if you're trying to teach someone something, you're not just going to jump to the end, are you?
No.
So
Of course
you know, I'm not trying to just jump to the end and go like, well, voila, you know, we've been gone for 6 months, but now here's the end photo, right?
That's right.
You got to know what goes into this, right? And I'm not sitting there like detailing everything for
No,
the
of
people
course.
online, right?
But you're making it interesting.
But I'm making it interesting to show the steps. So
Yeah.
if the stairs are going in, you're going to see the stairs going in. You know, if we're doing flooring, you're going to see the flooring going in. You know, so it's just it's fun for people to see, even though it's not the most glamorous. It's fun.
No, it's awesome, man. And so, what's your branding? What that logo? Where'd you come up with that?
So my sister is our big marketing. She does all of our marketing. She comes from a high background. She used to do marketing for Walmart back in the day.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, she used to. She's pretty good at what she does, and we're just like we have a lot of stuff in house, so we're very thankful for that. Because a lot of this stuff will cost a lot of money outside, right? But her vision for our business, branding wise, is kind of where it's been directed.
Yeah.
I'm just the guy we're just the guys that put it out there. She's the one that makes it, and it goes hand in hand. And we're just really trying to stay with the brand awareness right now, because really at the end of the day, it doesn't matter about me, it doesn't matter about them, it doesn't matter about anybody. It just matters about you hire our company, the job will get done.
Mm-hmm. So our clients hiring you from the, you know, research stage to the purchasing to the reno and then to the selling.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that. I mean, it doesn't always happen like that. I work with a fair amount of investors as well too. So ones that buy land, want to build and sell. Reason being they like me is because I understand budgets very heavily because I come from the flipping. So,
Right.
you know, I have guys that want to do this and will start projects and they'll want to do something to that house where I'm just like, listen, you might want to take a step back here because I don't think that this is going to get you the money that I don't think it's going to get you the money in return that is going to cost to put in.
Right.
So again, a lot of people in this business will take people for a ride because they don't know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? Whereas I'm like, if somebody tells me something, I always give them the options. Well, I don't think this is going to be the necessary thing to do.
Right.
In order for us to sell it for that same amount of dollars, right?
Right.
Whereas if it's a homeowner, though, I'm like, listen, you can do whatever the hell you want. I mean, your budget is your budget, right?
Yeah.
So they are two different clients, and you have to understand the investing side in order to work with an investor.
Right. Of course. Naturally.
You have to, like.
Yeah. I mean, and it's important, obviously, for not only understanding it, but going through that experience like you have, where you know, putting your money where your mouth is, and showing them that you've done this.
But I always put my money where my mouth is.
Yeah.
We always do. We risk everything every day. You know what I mean? We are risk takers, big risk takers. And in order to be an investor, you have to be a risk taker.
Of course.
Mind you, they're calculated risk, but the calculations don't always end up in your favor sometimes.
That's right.
So, we've lost money, lots of money. We've made lots of money. You know what I mean? You continue to grow as a business. But again, it's not about the money. It's about the knowledge, because you can't buy the knowledge, right? You can't go to school and learn this. You can't go to school and learn what happened last project to this project. I don't care how many books you read. I don't care what you read on social media. You can't learn it until you do it.
Yeah, and you have to have those failures and use them as learning outcomes, and failures are just a natural part of experience, right? So we're going to take our last break, and then we're going to come back in just a couple of minutes.
With so many newspapers within the community, it's sometimes hard to tell what separates us from the rest. Most of the time, they all brag about the same thing. The large circulations, tons of online views, and it can go on and on. But what really separates the Toronto Caribbean newspaper apart from everybody else? Well, it's simple. Our service. No, seriously. Hi, I'm Grant Browning, founder and CEO of the Toronto Caribbean newspaper. I have over 20 years of branding and marketing experience, and I've worked with countless companies and corporations to do one thing, and that is to raise their profits with their brand. With over 40 years of combined experience in branding and marketing, our amazing staff is fully prepared to sit down and figure out exactly what you need to stand out from your competitors.
The reason why you don't see that anymore is because
The ad is too powerful, bring too much people.
So what are you waiting for? Give us a call today. We'll be happy to help.
Hello everyone, my name is Jermaine Chambers, and I'm very excited to tell you about the newest political and current affairs program coming here to Brampton. It's called On Point.
The first step of true reconciliation is learning more about one another.
Join us on Tuesdays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. as we discuss all the issues.
I will never forget the trust you put in me.
Municipal, provincial, federal, and any issue of national importance we will talk about on Point. So do join us.
And we are back. So, Joel Anthony, you're obviously always on the go,
Always.
right? So what are you working on right now?
We have a big project that we're wrapping up in Stouffville right now. It's going to be hitting the market sometime soon, within the next month or so.
Yeah.
It's for an investor client. It's a big 4-bedroom, 5,000 square foot above grade home. Backs onto the community's in the middle of a golf course.
Oh,
so,
beautiful.
Yeah, so you can check that out. Follow me through the Instagram to see what's going on there. But we're pretty much wrapping up there. We got kitchens coming soon, and it'll be for sale. So if anybody's interested, like I said, you can get a hold of us, and we'll give you some details. We also have another project in Durham going on right now. It's a pretty big house, another 5,000 plus square foot home.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's got like 6 bathrooms. That's for a buyer client. They're going to be living there though, and that one's it's fun as well because they're putting their love and passion into that one as opposed to just doing it just to make money on it, right? So we're kind of doing some cool features in that home: curbless showers, heated floors,
Wow.
Theater room, full acoustic, sound, stars in the ceiling, things like that. So that's what we got going on now, and then we have about 3 other projects this year lined up right now as it goes. Couple, again, from my investor client, who's also my very good friend. We got two, I guess you would call them builds. They're not like knockdowns, but they're like additions and full guts from the inside. So we got 2 of them for him, and then another client that just got passed through the city committee.
Yeah.
We got the okay to add another story on it and push out the back. So it's going to be a busy year, and we just continue to get bigger. And our I kind of not like to say no, but we also like the big projects, right?
Yeah,
Where I can
yeah.
situate my guys for quite some time, as opposed to just the odd bathroom here and there, right?
Right. So walk me through. So if I'm a buyer, and I just kind of, maybe you were referred to me or I found you on Instagram or something like that. And if I said, hey, look, I'm looking for a house. I'm not too, I don't care too much about where this house is, but I would like to find something that we can work on, maybe put some money in, live for the next 5 years, and then sell. So how would you work with one of those clients?
I kind of work backwards, to be honest. So I asked them what the budget is, you know what I mean, as purchasing. And then once I find the purchasing, I ask them how much do they, cash they have extra to do renovations or construction or whatever the case may be. And then once we do that, we figure out costs, holding costs, pricing, things like that. If you're a new investor with, limited funds, I guess you could say, I would never suggest going all out right away because it's a learning process, right? Start small, get bigger, but you got to go through the hoops, right? Because even though you're just the money guy at that time, you should still want to learn a little bit about the business so you understand instead of I come into you with a budget of something, you're like, well, how's that cost that much? Well, I'm like, it costs that much, you know what I mean? Like, materials since I've started has gone up 4 times.
Crazy.
It's crazy, man. Like, a stick of lumber 2x8 right now is like $4, man. It's crazy. Like, just imagine how much lumber it takes just to even build a house, right? So like lumber material for a 3,000 square foot home is like 70,000 just for the lumber. So it's just, you got to look in the right areas. Unfortunately in this business in our city, most of the time, the higher you go with pricing, the bigger the margins.
Right.
You're shooting $1 million mark, you put 250, 300, 400 into it, you can make 150, 200 grand off it, depending, obviously, right? But I find with the bigger margins, it comes with the bigger pricing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nowadays.
Yeah, and the bigger risk too, obviously.
Bigger risk, but bigger rewards.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, it must be kind of like pretty exciting. Do you work with, buyers who just want to live in their forever home? So they're maybe looking below their market budget, and they're using you to, finish the renovations for them too, right?
I do, and you know what? Even though somebody's looking for a forever home, just to buy a home, I always try to plan them 5 to 10 years ahead.
So you still take kind of the same
I
approach.
tell them, listen, this is not just a house you're going to buy and dump money into and hope you pay your mortgage off. That shouldn't be your goal, really, at the end of the day. I mean, to me, it shouldn't be your goal.
Right.
To some, it should, but I mean, in today's world, you need a lot of money, so it shouldn't be your goal. You should have a plan. It could be your forever home still, but how are we going to leverage that home for you down the road to make more money? So I always sit them down and say, listen, we can have your forever home, buy it, but what is our end goal here? Are you buying a large piece of lot that you can eventually build a big home on? Take equity out and go invest somewhere else? Are you trying to just sever the lot? Are you trying to just build your equity down the road and then refinance it? I always encourage people to have a set plan because it's going to be very hard to retire coming up. Yeah. For anybody from our age down.
Yeah.
Even from our parents. Like, a lot of people are not prepared for that, right?
Absolutely.
And, your pensions are not going to be anything in 15 years.
So, I mean, obviously you have a wealth of knowledge that you're passing on to your clients. So do you work with multiple clients multiple times?
Yeah, I work with tons of people, man, to be honest. I mean, I don't really have a limit on how many people I work with. Yeah. If I feel that it's getting saturated and I can't keep up, I don't really ever feel like that, to be honest with you. 'Cause I have I try and I'm good at prioritizing and organizing, right?
Probably got systems in place, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
right?
I try to, right? I'm not like a scatter brain. I am, but I still have a structure, right?
Process.
Everyone's still got to get the fair time.
Right.
With one another, right?
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, what's like the next big idea for you? What's your goal in the next 5-10 years? What do you want to do?
Our goal is to we want to obviously expand our business, do more custom homes,
get more trucks on the road.
More trucks on the road. Yeah, we got 2 smart cars on the road, one extended van on the road, and we have a 2500 GMC truck or whatever on the road. Yeah. So more cars. Branding, bigger, and we want to eventually get into the developing side. Not necessarily subdivisions, but we like the idea of custom boutiques, 6 houses on a lot. Yeah. Because that's the way our city's moving, right? It's not all about the big homes anymore. Yeah. Not outside the city, but inside the city, it's more townhouses, buy the plot of land, put 6 on it. Yeah. We hate cookie cutter though. Yeah. We like custom. Right. That's we like challenges. Cookie cutters, okay, you can make money, but challenges are where it's at.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, what about like if somebody were to, you do like the ground up for a full house too, right? So I
Correct.
mean, if somebody wanted to say, can you help them find the plot of land too?
Oh, yeah.
And then you work with the town and everything?
Everything. We take
Wow.
it from start to finish. Buy you the lot, do all the drawings, engineers, deal with the city. To be
Yeah.
honest, when you work with us as a homeowner, you don't really have to do anything, to be honest. Like that's the
Right.
responsibility we take on our behalf.
That's great.
You just have to be part of the process of designing.
Mm-hmm.
We offer design as well too, but you as the person living there are going to have to be involved, right?
Well, because I think the general role of a realtor is changing drastically. There's always going to be people who want to work with people, but there's always going to be buyers and sellers that want to do it themselves. And I think the role that you're taking on, I don't think that's ever going to go away because that's such a personalized experience. It's a service-based experience that you are really a one-stop shop. And I think that's really, people aren't necessarily looking to do things themselves, but I think they're looking to save money, and I think they're looking to make the process easier. And when you're adding all these influences like a realtor, a mortgage broker, maybe a secondary lender, and then you're the renovations, this contractor, that contractor, and I think you're simplifying the process for your clients that make it easier to, hire somebody like you.
Yeah, I'm going to say for the record, people think it's cheaper to do it themselves.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to tell you, it is not.
It is not.
It costs you more money.
Absolutely.
I'll be honest. Because even if it doesn't at that time and you don't know what you're doing, chances are you didn't do it right.
Right.
So it's going to eventually cost you more money. So I'm a firm believer in spend the money in the beginning.
Yeah.
Get it done right so you never have to do it again.
Right.
It's just maintenance.
And you know what? Like realtors and a lot of buyers, they can walk through a house and they can tell. They can sense it, within the first few moments of walking in the home, saying, "Okay, I think the guy must have did all the rentals himself."
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And that would hurt your final takeaway on whatever you're doing.
Buyers aren't stupid these days. The internet doesn't
fully
allow
aware.
them to be honest, you know what I
They're
mean?
fully aware and experienced, yeah.
But they're not stupid. They know what to look for. I mean, they're not masterminds of this business, but a buyer will come in and look and see trim is terrible or painting is terrible or you know what I mean? So yeah, just be aware of what you buy. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't put the tender love and care like we do into the projects.
Yeah.
We firmly believe that we give, the best product out there. And it's just all about the client at the end of the day.
Good, man. Good for you. You know what? And I really appreciate you coming on short notice. You're a great guy. How can future clients find you?
So
Give us
we're
a
on
plug.
social media, very heavily based. We're on delgrandehomes.com. We have a new website launching actually coming up. Social media, like I said, Instagram is big for us. We have multiple divisions. We have the home staging, we have the landscaping, and we have Delgrande Homes. So just type Delgrande into Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and you'll be able to find us.
Great. Well, thanks again, man. I really appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Guys, thank you very much for tuning in again today. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you right here next week.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.